Can you, for everyone's purpose, just explain briefly what this law does?
The law actually has many parts, but there are two that have attracted a lot of the attention. The first is that the law makes it a crime to be in the state of Arizona without complying with federal registration requirements. And that's the first law of that kind that's been passed by states. So
Federal registration requirements, what do you mean by that?
There's a provision in the federal code that requires that aliens who enter the United States register. And there's some people who are exempted from those requirements for humanitarian and other reasons. But in general, aliens are required to register with the government, to notify them when they change address, and also to carry proof either in their passport or in the form of a green card that they have authorization to be in the U.S. And so the Arizona law adds a penalty through the state system to people who haven't complied with those provisions.
But it's a lot of the discussion has been focused on law enforcement.
That's right.
Law enforcement has the ability to stop someone who would be stopped otherwise for some kind of violation, whether it's a blinker that doesn't work or excess speed, and then ask the individual to show proof that they are in this country legally, right?
That's
so
right.
Whatever documentation, and what kind of documentation would that be, like a driver's license?
Well, a driver's license, that's the second major component of the law that's drawn most of the criticism and the charges of racial profiling. It directs police that when they lawfully come into contact with someone in a stop or an arrest, that they ask for their identification. And if you have an Arizona ID, I believe also a tribal ID, or some other form of ID where proof of lawful status is required, you're presumptively okay. If you don't have ID, then that might produce another series of questioning. And if the officer has reason to believe or reasonable suspicion that the person's present unlawfully, then they can check immigration status, inquire into immigration status.